Welcome to a new business finance short problem solving lecture. We will now have a look at study problem 15-9 in page 481 from the 8th edition of our textbook. Here's a view of the problem. Let's go ahead and highlight some key facts provided in the problem. We are to calculate the effective cost of the following source of finance, basically trade credit, and we are given 4 different cases, and we are to calculate the effective cost for the following 4, where payment is made on net due date as described in these 4 trade credit terms. Before I begin, I would like to elaborate on the meaning of this trade credit and how it works basically. So trade credit is an unsecured source of financing. It's one of the better known and spontaneous sources of financing for the firm who is making purchases of merchandise from its suppliers. All you need to do is to place an order with your supplier, and then your supplier will check your credit, and if your credit is good, you will be sent the merchandise, and the purchasing firm then will pay for the goods in accordance with the supplier's credit terms, obviously. The credit terms offered with trade credit involve a cash discount for early payment. So let's make note of that. So it involves a cash discount for early payment. For example, a supplier might offer terms as described in part A of our problem, 2/10, net 30. That means a 2% discount is offered if payment is made within 10 days or the full amount of the invoice is due within 30 days. Therefore, a 2% penalty is involved for not paying within 10 days, or for basically delaying payment from the 10th to the 30th day, which is a 20-day span. The effective annual cost of not taking the cash discount can be quite severe. So in this example, for instance, to calculate the effective cost of the trade credit terms here, I will assume an invoice amount of let the invoice amount be, say, $100. So the effective cost of passing up the discount period using this credit term would be as follows. So the APR in that case would be, well, the penalty will be $2. Instead of making a $98 payment at the end of the day 10, you will be making $100 at the end of day 30. So as a result, you will be effectively paying a 2% interest, and it is as if you are borrowing $98, and it is again as if you are borrowing the money for 20 days. And making this calculation, we realize that the effective cost is quite high, actually, at 36.73% cost of borrowing funds. It's quite expensive. And by the way, once the discount period has passed, there is no reason to pay before the final due date. So if the 10th day in this example has already passed, there's no point in making the payment in day 11 or 12. So you'd rather be better off waiting until the 30th day. So here I want to make the following argument. So this is day 0, day 10, day 20, day 30. So the basic story is the following. So you have 2 options. So you have received an invoice in day 0, and you are given 2 options. For a $100 invoice, either you have an option to pay $98 here, or wait till day 30 and pay $100. It is as if we are borrowing $98, yes, for 20 days if we are not making the payment by the end of day 10, and then we are paying a $2 interest by the end of day 30. So that's the meaning of all these calculations, actually. That's the interpretation. So this number is quite high, and that answers the first part of the problem. Now we can quickly go ahead and calculate the remaining parts. So we can let me open a new page, actually. So for part B, the terms of the trade credit is 315 net 30. So we can get a 3% discount as a result, and so the APR would be, you will get a $3 penalty for not paying by the end of the first 15 days. So if instead you pay by the end of 30 days, there's a 15-day difference here, so it would be 360 over 15. So that will come out as 74.23%, a jaw-dropping number, very costly to borrow. The second contract was 315 net, I believe it was net 45. In that occasion, the APR would be calculated as, again, $3 here divided by 97, and then times 360 over the difference between these two dates is 30 here, and you would get a 37.11% difference here. And cost, and finally the last one would be 215 net, I believe 60. In that case, the APR would be equal to a 2% discount out of the $98. 360 over this date difference is 45 days. And bottom line, you crank in the algebra and it gives you a 16.33% effective cost. So that solves the problem, and hope to see you in the next video.